Hey, I'm Noah. This is
Zach.
And Jeremy.
we're here to review Captain Marvel. What'd you think?
I thought it was good.
I didn't like it.
It's a decent Marvel movie.
For me, it was like a 6 or 7. But sometimes when I think about it, it drops some. Sometimes when I think about it, to get reminded stuff goes up a little bit. So yeah, I don't know. Somewhere in
Yeah,
there.
I was in that same area. It was like, it was very, generic Marvel.
I think it was lower than a generic Marvel. Like all the beats that usually a Marvel movie can hit, the humor, the fun characters, all of it fell flat for me. None of the usual Marvel trademarks worked for this movie, in my opinion.
Yeah, I felt like the big picture of this movie was, here's Captain Marvel. We're introducing her.
Mhm.
Done. It's
But,
like they didn't spend any time
The most important
going
thing,
into the details of anything good.
the most important thing this movie had to do was make a character that we could relate to and be interested into, because this is the movie following that will be before Endgame, so they really needed to introduce Marvel in a much more interesting and better way, in my opinion.
Yeah. And that's some of the things that brought it down for me, is I felt like we have these other characters where we have 3 or 4 movies in of character development and why we like them, and then Captain Marvel, they just throw her in there at the last second and expect us all just to love her. And it's kind of like, well, I mean, I know it's an origin story, but maybe it could have been planned out or done better if they had done a couple of movies before it's been like, oh, yep, and by the way, here's Captain Marvel, and she's coming to save everyone.
Yeah,
Right.
I have no attachment to this character at all.
Right.
Well, right. She's just in a bad spot. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I don't know what you would do otherwise, though, because somebody had to be in between it. You're saying
Yeah.
just, like,
What do you
do
mean,
somebody
in
else
between it?
in between Infinity War and Endgame? Like,
Hmm.
maybe an Ant-Man movie or something that somebody we already know.
Well,
Maybe.
you mean following Endgame? You mean
Following Infinity War, like you said,
they
like,
had Ant-Man in the
because
Wasp?
they're introducing her because of the end credit scene of Infinity War. Like,
Mhm.
maybe they introduced her beforehand, you're saying? Like, they did her movie
Well, I think
before?
they should have held off on putting her in the universe until after Endgame.
Mm-hmm.
But,
Because we have all these established characters that I want to watch in the movie, and they threw in this extra character that will take away from those other characters that I want to watch.
I don't think she's going to take away, because we don't
I think
know,
she will.
We don't know, like, her role in
She's
Endgame.
so powerful. If they don't use the character in the final fight with Thanos, and if she doesn't just kill him, she's too overpowered.
I mean, like I said, we don't know what Endgame is going to be. I feel like there's a plan, because Kevin Feige always has a plan, and so there's, like, a reason she's there. I don't think she's going to kill Thanos. I don't think she's going to take away from any of the other characters, because Feige has planned this, like, from the beginning. Like,
He could make a mistake, though.
he could make a mistake, and we'll find out. But we haven't seen it, and I'll give him the benefit of the doubt, because so far, he's got us on the path, the straight and narrow, and, like...
But yeah, I guess more into detail.
It's-
What did you think of the plot of Captain Marvel?
Of Captain Marvel? Yeah, as far as the plot goes, well, we could basically, I guess we could sum it up. It's basically, Carol Danvers, or when we meet her, it's Veers. And basically, she doesn't remember who she is. She has these powers, and she's like a Kree commando, basically. And basically, it's just her trying to figure out her past and figure out who she was and where she came from. And that's a weird thing in this movie, because they
show you.
they show us in like flashbacks, and so we kind of already know. And then the whole time she's trying to figure it out, and it's
Because
just
usually like this, you would figure out slowly as the movie progresses,
we
but they just
should
show
be-
it all right away.
We should be figuring out it when she figures it out.
Yeah.
And that kind of takes away a lot of the mystery of the movie. Just kind of, so you just kind of like, okay,
Takes away
We're
a
just
little bit of
going along.
suspense, maybe.
Mhm.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to say, one of the things that I did like is pretty much everybody around Captain Marvel. I liked all the Kree, and I liked all the Skrull stuff, and I liked Coulson. I liked seeing Nick Fury. Like, I thought everybody was doing such a great job, and Brie Larson was like fine. She didn't take away from the movie, but I feel like if I was to change one thing, like maybe change her, and maybe she would be like more, I don't know, personable or likable. I don't know.
This movie, characters-wise, none of the characters worked for me. Nick Fury didn't feel like Nick Fury, in my opinion, and Captain Marvel I found really annoying in this movie and not very likable. And the Skrull, I didn't like what they did with the Skrull. They made them the good guys, which I thought was kind of stupid to do.
Oh, that was cool.
And the Kree, right off the bat, when they were trying to make those character moments with the Kree, where they did this humor right off the bat with when they were going on their mission, that fell flat for me. Right off the get-go, the humor wasn't working for me, and I didn't know any of the characters. I didn't care about anyone. Even by the end, I didn't care about a single character. Yeah, none of the characters worked for me, in my opinion.
I like a little bit more character development with my bad guy than what they gave me for Jude Law. I understand they were trying to save it as a twist for the end, but even then, you can throw in some flashbacks where he's doing bad stuff or something. Like, think about when they set up Ronan in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when we first meet Ronan, he's like, we see him going through these rituals. We find out he's like, super strict about everything, and then we see him smash some guy's head. Like, boom,
Mm-hmm.
There's just.
We also know his goal.
Yeah, we know
his
goal, but he has no character. He's just bad guy. Ronan, I think.
But we didn't even get that in this movie. We didn't get bad guy.
Well, that's because it was a twist, which everybody already knew. Because at the end, when you find out he did kill Mar-Vell, like,
yeah.
It was that was his epic moment, but it didn't come until the very end.
Oh, and that was anticlimactic too.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, she's just like shot to the side. Oh, okay.
Right. So that's
Yeah.
I would agree that is a major problem, but like.
Also, I didn't get why they didn't just shoot her too. They let her have time enough to shoot the starship's engine.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
Yeah,
why?
It was kind of slowed down. I don't know. I'd have to see it again.
Like, he
I've
shoots
only
her,
seen it
and
one
then
time, I'll say.
she's standing there,
Yeah,
and
I
then
wanna see
he
it
just
again.
was like, they had a conversation, and I'm like, why are they talking? Yeah, this movie just did not work for me at all. And also, the editing of this movie, I felt was very terrible, and I think that's why I had a headache at the end of the movie. Like, I just wasn't. It was not my kind of movie.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, before I want to go back to that stuff at the beginning was actually my favorite stuff. Like when she's with the Kree, and we get to see the Kree home planet. Like that was really cool. Also, her like training with Jude Law was cool, and their whole when they had that like Kree squad, like they were going on that planet looking for the. I forget. It was like was it a Kree soldier or an informant or
They were
something?
looking for a Korean informant.
Mm-hmm.
And and then the Skrulls reveal themselves. Krull.
Red Letter Media did that too.
They did.
They mixed up Kree and Skrull to make Krull.
But anyway, the Skrulls reveal themselves, and there's that like whole tactical thing. They go in the water. They're coming up, and it's like all tactical. I love that. That was
Everything was going way too. I would have had more time to do with the actual.
I'm just saying that was like my favorite stuff in the movie.
But I thought all the action was done terribly. It was
like
too
I said,
close.
I liked
Too
that stuff in the beginning. I really liked that.
The editing of the fights were not very good, and it was too close. In the action, a lot of the action was too close. And when you have the budget, I don't know why you do that.
I don't think that fight with the old woman that wasn't too close.
I was talking about the first fight,
Oh.
but also the fight at the end of the movie, because we'll talk about the action now.
Okay.
But the fight at the end of the movie where they started playing "I'm Just a Girl"
Yeah, that was
horrendous.
obvious.
Yeah, it was so horrendous. Like, that was the only thing that made me laugh the whole movie. Just how cringy it was, but
very cringy.
yeah. When to Marvel standards, I would say this was not very good on the action.
I would like to know who's doing the action. They should
Would
have
it have been the directors? Because
It
the
depends.
one of Black Panther didn't want to do the action. But if the directors are into it, I think they let them do the action.
Yeah, it just depends on who's making the movie.
Yeah.
Honestly, but Marvel should have like a go-to like action director
Who can help the directors
who
out.
can like if somebody doesn't like if like a specific director doesn't want to do the action, like they can have that guy step in and kill it. But that's
Yeah, you
true.
think they would have that? With the
I
budget.
do want to say the directors are Anna Boden and Ryan Fleck, who I know absolutely nothing.
I'm not
about.
impressed.
I mean, yeah. It was. Before I forget, too, that opening with Stan Lee, the Marvel logo.
That was the best part of the movie. Best part of the movie.
And his
First
cameo was
5
pretty cool
seconds.
too.
Yeah.
Where he's like reading his line.
Oh yeah.
He was actually cameoing as himself. I think that's the first time he's ever
Right.
played himself, right?
Oh yeah.
He was playing Stan Lee,
As Stan Lee.
Mm-hmm.
reading his lines for the Mallrats movie. That was cool.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
Yeah. Yes, we will be missing him
Yeah, it's very sad.
extremely.
Mm-hmm. But yeah,
Going to
We
the to the editing, I felt like if you're going to make Fury that young, you have to do a better job of editing out where he looks like he's huffing and puffing as he's like just like walking down the aisle or running somewhere or something. Like if he's going to be an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., he's going to be in better shape and stuff. And that's something that I felt like they didn't cut up well,
mm-hmm.
of making scenes where it makes him look younger and more fit and more, I don't know, just younger, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate the character and I appreciate him a lot. And I even watching Samuel L. Jackson talk about acting and what he brings to all of his characters, I appreciate what he does so much. I feel like it was on the fault of maybe the directors.
I think this movie is mostly the fault of the directing.
Yeah, so.
Yeah. But what did you guys think of the cat?
The cat.
I didn't like the cat.
The cat did not need to be in this movie.
The cat was a complete waste of like screen time, like because
I liked the cat.
the cat.
I think I like
this
the
is
only person
this
who
is
liked
why
the
I'll
cat.
say the cat's main objective.
My wife didn't even like the cat.
Yeah.
She's so optimistic.
The cat's like only purpose of being there was to eat the Tesseract or
It
swallow
was,
the
it
Tesseract.
was comic relief. Yeah.
So you could just
Fair
well, if you want
comic
comic relief, they could have just told a joke
Mhm.
with using somebody else, or the cat. Like you could have had like basically a box and a gun, and would have replaced the cat.
Mm-hmm.
He
Yeah.
needs a gun to shoot the scrolls at the end when they're running, and he needs a box for an extra box for the Tesseract. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and then the stupid cat scratches out Nick Fury's eye.
Before
That
this
was
movie,
so upsetting.
when this movie
Oh my
happened,
goodness.
like one of my biggest fears was they're gonna make his eye lame.
Mm.
The backstory behind his eye
Yeah.
was really stupid, and now whenever I look at his eye, I'm just gonna think of that stupid thing they do in this movie.
I don't even need to
Which
know that kind
they
of stupid
did.
stuff.
I was hoping they wouldn't even address it in this movie.
I don't like.
I was really hoping they wouldn't even
I
address the
don't
eye.
need to know how Han Solo got his stupid last name, and I don't need to know how Nick Fury lost his eye.
I
like,
agree.
Just leave it alone because you're gonna ruin it.
Sometimes the mystery is better than actually finding out.
Yeah.
Leave it to the imagination. Not everything needs to be answered.
Yeah, I don't mind finding out, but if you're gonna do something like that, do it well.
You gotta have it cool. Do it like during a really cool action scene, but have a
Yeah.
cat just claw his eye at the end for comedy,
Right, yeah, just to chalk it up.
Which
to,
I-
this will be a funny thing in the Marvel Universe.
which I think is
No,
becoming.
his eye always made him look super epic, so
I think this is
Right.
becoming a problem with the Marvel
why are you
Universe,
gonna waste that?
where they are at the expense of the Marvel Universe. They are putting jokes in which are taking away from the movie. I felt that way too when he breaks out of that room, which was
True.
Nick Fury. Nick Fury breaks out of a room that they're trapped
Oh
in,
yeah,
which was really cool. And then you find out later that she could have broke out the whole time, but she,
Well, we
He's
knew
a
it
schmuck.
already because she's already used her power.
yeah,
before.
she's just.
But no,
They did that joke at the expense of the movie, in my opinion. They did
I
that
don't
for a
think
joke.
so. Well, she was. I don't know why she
Like
used her powers.
they
but
keep shoving really bad jokes in these movies now, where I don't even care for the humor in Marvel movies at
But
this point.
I don't agree with you on that point because I thought they were just showing that Nick Fury is capable on his own. Like if she wasn't there, he could still get out, no problem. It was easy
But-
for him.
Yeah,
And then they turned it into a joke by she shot the next door because like, do we really want
but no, it makes her seem as a bad person. Throughout this whole
that
movie,
may
she
be,
is
but,
being
like, I
not the greatest person. She's destroying private property. She's stealing stuff from people. And like the fact that she is from Earth and like she acts like she's an alien.
because she doesn't
Well,
know.
she thought she was a
That's a
creep
whole.
But when people lose their memory,
yeah, she thinks she's
but she
a
still
creep.
has that stuff in her mind. People don't
Yeah,
just
but she
forget
can't
stuff.
access it. She doesn't know
Then-
any
yeah,
of it.
didn't she think she
That's
was
the
a
whole
creep?
point of the movie.
I don't remember if she thought she was a
I
creep.
can't remember. I
No,
thought
she-
that
but,
was a part of it. I
She
thought
did.
thought she was a creep.
Yeah.
Because she had.
But she knows how to ride a
blood
motorcycle.
flowing to her.
Yeah.
Did she have
So
the
did,
keys?
like,
Did she
the other
hotwire
creep.
it, or
She stole it from the guy.
he left his keys in the motorcycle?
I don't know. We don't know.
That's
Did she
convenient.
get the keys? We don't know.
But
That's convenient in every movie. Then there's so many movies where they just like steal cars and steal clothes to get by.
but they
Yeah.
show how they're doing it. They'll pull down the thing and the keys fall on them, or they hotwire it.
Okay.
There's a
They
lot of
don't
things
do it
like
all
that.
the time. They don't do it all the time.
Well, I would have appreciated it. I appreciate when movies.
I
do
mean,
that.
for me though. That's like I don't want to get lost in that detail. Like,
But I think
that's
they
not gonna
also.
ruin the
I also
movie
think
for
they
me.
were missing scenes in this movie,
Mm.
like the fact
Like
of how in the world did the commissioner of Shield
hmm
get abducted and turned into a scroll? They just throw that in.
Right. Well, he says what he did to him. He said he like tied him up somewhere. And,
Yeah.
He doesn't have agents following him at 24/7.
yeah. Well, he was impersonating him, so he probably said, "I'm gonna go here." So they know where he was because he was being impersonated by.
No, but
Supergirl.
where is the dude that got abducted?
He said he was tied up somewhere.
But
He
my
says
point is,
that.
how did he not have guards around him at the time of being changed or being tied up?
I don't know.
That's the scene that
another
is
detail.
missing, in my opinion.
Okay, well, but then we would know. And the whole point was,
Zach,
surprise,
they don't,
it's a scroll.
which was I knew was going to happen.
Yeah, because it was Ben Mendelsohn.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so it's not
right,
even
yeah.
a surprise. So
He was
show the
scroll
scene.
whole time.
So maybe a missed opportunity, but I don't see that as a bad thing. That's just like movie making. If you're trying to surprise somebody, you don't
No, but
show it.
But it wasn't a surprise.
It was supposed to be that.
All right,
way.
that's
It was
another.
supposed
That's
to be
another thing about this
surprise.
movie.
That-
Nothing surprised me. I
that's-
saw everything coming, and yeah.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
very
that was-
predictable.
that was
Except
very
I thought the
predictable.
scroll thing was very. I didn't see that coming at all. That they were the good guys, the scrolls, or they were just like
Oh,
not
right.
good guys, but like oppressed.
Yeah. But
By the-
they switched that
The
up.
and actually bringing up Ben Mendelsohn, I loved Ben Mendelsohn, and I really like I said before, I like the scrolls, but like Ben Mendelsohn killed it in this movie. He was fun to watch. Every time he was in it, I was just having a good time.
That was good.
And,
then,
Like
what was-
it's like everything around Captain Marvel. That's what I was enjoying the most. Is like Nick Fury,
all the characters
Ben
around her.
Mendelsohn.
Yeah.
like that whole when they're doing the scrolls autopsy, and they
Oh,
and
yeah.
they peek under the sheet at the scroll's crotch.
Yeah, see,
That
none of
was so funny.
the humor in this movie worked.
That
for me.
was funny, and it was pretty good too when he was like saying goodbye to whatever soldier that he had. He was like whispering to him. He's like, you don't want to get too close to that. I loved all that. I thought that was really cool. I like that stuff.
Little nitpick on the costume people. I could hear when he was in his scroll form. I could hear the lisp of the fake teeth they had put on him. So that kind of like took away from it just a little bit for me, just a little bit.
Dude, have you seen Star Trek Discovery?
Parts of it.
Oh, you the Klingons.
Yeah, right.
It's like
Mm.
that's not how you do fake teeth. Anyway,
Right, yeah.
Yeah,
it's like, really-
the movie put me out of it right away to where I never could really get back into it.
What?
right
Captain
away.
Marvel. Yeah, the editing, I didn't care about any of the people, and yeah.
Like at what point? Like right away.
The ship, when she was abducted on the ship and she broke out, and then the lines,
That's That's after all that Kree stuff.
Mhm.
I guess after they abduct.
So you
Abducted.
enjoyed that stuff too, then?
The editing was off for me. I didn't care for that, and I didn't care about any of the characters.
Forget the editing. Did you like the world? Did you like the characters they were setting up? Everything before that.
No. The first scene with the Kree where
So-
they were doing
so
jokes
right
and
away
stuff.
you were out.
Yeah, none of the jokes were working for me. I didn't care about anyone, so then I was just kind of sitting there. And then she gets abducted, she breaks out by herself, and then the lines she would do, it just put me out of the movie. Yeah.
I would say
And it never got me back.
I did like the jokes about they're making jokes about the guy being handsome. Like I
See,
thought that was.
I was
funny.
like, oh, they're trying to do a joke here, but it's not working
yeah,
for me.
no, I thought that stuff was funny. I like those guys.
It didn't work for me. It felt a lot like Deadpool 2, to where I felt the directing of the jokes just weren't very well done.
I did not get that vibe. But
Oh well.
anything else? I mean,
No.
overall for me, I thought it was it's another entry into the Marvel universe, and it was pretty good. It was good. It's not great.
I think it fails on everything that Marvel usually can do pretty well in their movies. It fell flat for me.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said in the beginning, it felt like something they just kind of slapped in there because they needed to. So, which would be weird, there was a big setup in Infinity War, where he takes the pager and Captain Marvel's coming, so we're all like excited and ready to see what they're gonna do with it, and then just felt like there's a lot of stuff they just put in there because they need to put it in there.
Yeah.
So.
Do you think it's worth watching in theaters?
I mean, if you're invested in the MCU, yeah.
Otherwise,
Yeah.
though, I wouldn't. Say
If
it's
you're
worth
just
it.
like a fan, if you just like want to see it as a movie on its own, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm
Yeah,
too
that's
I'm
tough.
too invested into the Marvel movies to. I don't think I could tell.
I
either
think
way.
after Endgame, I might be skipping some.
Yeah.
Because they're losing me pretty quickly with these last couple movies they've been putting out.
I mean,
you really
yeah,
hope they
we'll
nail it on
see.
Endgame.
We'll see for sure. I think Kevin Feige's got it in the bag with Endgame. I think it'll
I
be
hope
fine.
so. I hope they put a little more effort into their single movies, single character movies as well. Because it feels like the creativity and effort has been lacking for
All going into
for like the
Avengers.
last 7 movies besides Infinity War, in my opinion.
Are you including Ant-Man and the Wasp in that?
That was a fun movie. I enjoyed that one. But besides Ant-Man and the Wasp, I would say they've been lacking. Besides Infinity War.
I thought they've all been good. I don't have a problem really. As far as like the future though, I just like seeing movies, so I'll probably see them all. I don't know if I'll be as invested as I was in this like epic journey we
10
had till
years.
Endgame,
Over 10
Yeah.
years.
but yeah, I'm excited because they have the X-Men and Fantastic Four and all that now, so I think it could be cool.
I don't know how they're going to throw the X-Men in it.
I don't know either. I'm also curious to see what happens to Deadpool.
Unless they change up how the mutants work.
Well, yeah, we'll see. But as far as Captain Marvel goes, good. You thought good, great.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, 6 or 7. It was, I anytime they're gonna put out a superhero movie, it's got a lot of special effects. Somebody flying around shooting lasers out of their hands is fun for me to watch for part of it.
But at this point of every movie has that, pretty much. Most movies can do CGI fights pretty well.
Yeah, which is fun for me. I'm living in
I
a fun time.
I need more than that at this point, because Rogue One fell flat for me as well. Because
how about expanding the universe?
what do you mean?
Like that's basically this movie expands the MCU.
I know, but I like to watch
if
a good
you're
movie.
invested in the MCU, like you think, like I wanna know what's going on in the MCU, like so because then other things later, it's.
But I
all
need a good story. I
fleshed
need
out.
good characters for a movie, or I get bored. And
I thought it was pretty good. Like I didn't think it was bad. Like you know what I mean. As far as that goes, it was
But-
fine.
like I'm fine with the mediocre Marvel movies. I think this was very much below mediocre, even
Okay.
in my opinion.
Yeah, and just thinking about what's her name again?
Brie
Captain
Larson?
Marvel or Brie Larson?
No,
Carol
what's her name?
Danvers?
Carol Danvers. Yeah, I don't know if it was I don't know if it was the acting or the directing, but somewhere in the middle, it just seemed like she was just saying her lines, like just to say. I don't know, just to get the line. Like she was like very like rushed in her lines. There was like a certain, you deliver a line a certain way, it casts a certain delivery, and either makes it,
Mm-hmm.
funny or this or that.
But yeah, I do feel as well for the Captain Marvel character. She is never really in danger in this movie. Like there are no real stakes with her character
Yeah.
yeah,
because she gets captured twice and she escapes both times by just sheer willpower. So
they do say
They
her
don't-
up
yeah.
as pretty powerful, and I guess she's just kind of like
Mhm.
getting into her
Mhm.
powers. I did appreciate that the moment she starts using her powers or using them in full force, she is kind of wonky with them. Like she doesn't know them super well. They
Yeah, when
just
she-
make her all of a sudden like.
Yeah,
But doesn't make sense
she
to me.
flies back
that
and
doesn't
she's
make
like,
sense to me
"Aw."
either, though, because she's been using them. She's had them for 6 years.
But they've been
No,
suppressing
no,
them.
yeah, not like.
Oh,
when
the
she
chip
had
on her
chip
neck.
off.
Right.
Which
right.
She has-
when she
she-
took off with sheer willpower.
She hadn't been able to fly or any of that stuff.
I heard someone say that she started out great, and by the end, she was even more great. So it's like,
To me, she just never changed. Like,
Yeah.
like she defeats Jude Law the same way at the very beginning that she does at the very end. So it's like,
Yeah.
she didn't change at all. She was like kick butt through the whole movie,
mhm.
and she just knows who she is, where she came from now.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
basically, yeah, it was just her figuring out who she was. That's basically what this movie was about.
Mhm.
Yeah, and it's like going back to her as a okay. So at first she thinks she's a Kree, but just being like a being in the universe. When she shows up on Earth, she doesn't try to blend in. She just walks around in her suit. Like she's like one of the super elite Marine squads of the Kree squad. You think she would be a little more, I don't know, like blend in-ish or something, and then like he said, like she blasted that jukebox. It's like that's some guy's private property. They just play her off as somebody that doesn't care about.
Anybody, yeah.
She's just
And I didn't feel any different about her by the end.
Right.
Well, yeah, I guess that's our discussion of Captain Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.